Thank you for checking out Late Night Laz. Here's your host, Laz.
Okay, I can explain. If you would just let me explain, I can tell you exactly what happened. Okay, so last week I planned on giving an episode, but I had nothing, bro. My mind was absolutely positively empty. I could not come up with an idea, not even a list. I couldn't come up with a topic. My mind was completely tapped out. Anxiety has absolutely had the wheel for the past few weeks, but today, as I was out, I went to Guitar Center and I was like, I need a new mic because I don't know if anybody notices this, but the noise in the background, the sounds are always prevalent. They're always there in my recordings, whether or not it's the podcast or the music. And I'm just like, I need something to isolate the sound. And I'm like, now I know I got to get a whole interface. I got to buy an actual mic, not just a USB mic. So I have to change I have to change my station. So that's what I've had to do. But then as I was thinking about me changing my station, I can't not record anything. Like I can't not record. I have to record. So it's like I had no idea what I was gonna discuss at all day. But I knew I had to sit down and turn on my laptop, turn on this mic, and I had to talk out of my ass for 40 minutes. Why? Because I love that shit. And I don't know who listens. I'm not asking who listens. Mainly because even if I got 1, 2, 3 listeners, those 1, 2, 3 people are definitely, enjoying it. Even when I put the reels on Instagram, what I'm saying? It gets a lot of plays. So it's like, guess what? That's cool. That's fine. For sure. Anyway. Welcome back to Late Night Laz. It's your boy Sachi, a.k.a. the Finesse Fish, a.k.a. King Rizzo, a.k.a. the Penn State Duck, a.k.a. yo, baby mama's favorite baby daddy. And we are back with another new episode. Well, another episode of Late Night Laz. And it's almost my favorite time of the year. Spooky season. Spooky season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and all that is on the LGBTQIA spectrum. Everybody loves spooky season. And then I had a thought in my mind. Are there any horror movies that still scare you that you saw when you were a child? And are there horror movies that still, that don't scare you anymore? And that came across my mind. Excuse my chair. That came across my mind because about 2-3 weeks ago, I was watching Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, I can, go through and watch and see if they still hold up. Don't get me wrong, still great movies, solid dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Even the kill scenes are great, but I wasn't as scared as I was when I first came across these films. And it could be saying, oh, you've gotten older, your tolerance for horror hasn't been. No, because there are still horror movies that still scare the shit out of me. All right? I don't care how grown I get. But it's just like there are some movies that that I'm just like, they don't do it for me anymore. Which sucks because these are movies that I love. But like, it's some movies are just like, oh, I can't fall asleep unless I put on a cartoon or something or a Disney movie just to like subconsciously make my mind move forward from the horror. I used to do that a lot when I was younger. And I know people who still do that as adults. But it's like there are a few horror movies that do that still, and there are also some that don't. Now, for me, I don't have this written down. I don't have a list or anything like that, but it's going to be like 5 horror movies that still absolutely can scare the piss out of me, and 5 horror movies that don't do it for me anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can still watch them because I love to watch them, but they don't scare me like they used to scare me, is what I can say about that. So again, I don't have a list. This is completely off the top of my head. So Yeah, man, enjoy. Uh, all right, so let's talk about real quick. I'm gonna go one on each side for this one right here. And again, wait, real quick. If you like the content, if you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Versace Laz. That's VersaceLaz. Also, follow me on the SoundCloud. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my stuff on Spotify, on Apple. Patience is key. But when I get everything set up, don't forget to follow. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell the auntie, mama, sister, brother, cousin, and let them all know that this podcast is where it's at. At least I think that's where it's at. All right. So number one, for one that still scares. Well, number five for the one that still scares the piss out of me. All right. Dead silence. Now, it's such a dumb, campy 2000, mid 2000s horror movie, right? But it's the setting, it's the dark themes of the movie, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you gotta turn the light on to even watch it because it's so gray and cloudy and so sinister that like it draws you into it, even if you feel like you won't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Because the puppets aren't that scary. It's the jump scares that's gonna scare the piss out of you. That's the thing that motherfuckers don't be thinking about right there. The jump scares in horror movies are absolutely positively gonna make you jump out your seat. And the reason why I say dead silence is because the ghost of Mary Shaw absolutely positively is probably the most smartly written horror movie villain of the mid 2000s. Hear me out when I say this, right? You can't scream because she will take your fucking tongue out. Okay? She will absolutely take your fucking tongue out. And so you are in fear of this monster, this fucking creature, and it's just like, well, not creature, this ghost, this monster, and you're just like, you know what I'm saying, trying to basically fight for your life, even if she comes out of nowhere. Like, the scene that always sticks out to me, and I love talking about this scene, is when the old dude goes under the house because he hears his wife, and you know what I'm saying, he hears his wife, and he thinks it's her, but it's not her. It's Mary Shaw, who has killed his wife. And he goes under the house and he's looking for, either under the house or in the vent. He goes under there and he's looking for her, and he thinks, and like he hears her under there, all that, and then he has the flashlight. It's like, motherfucker, like you for a minute, you feel like your soul has been sucked out for a second, because you know when he has the flashlight and he's pointing it everywhere, and then out of nowhere you just see like half of the ghostly Mary Shaw's face. It's like, oh, fuck. And then he's just like whimpering. He's weeping and everything like that. And then like the flashlight goes out for a second, right? And then he's trying to like make the flashlight come back on. And immediately as the flashlight comes back on, he's just like smacking it, just. And then a light comes on, and then you see Mary Shaw in front of his face, and he's just like, and he's screaming, and then you just see her ghostly smile and everything like that, and then she just goes in for the kill. That scene when the flashlight comes back on, it's like, bro, I just pissed myself. The whole rest of the movie could be ass, but it's two scenes in that movie that definitely make me go, fuck. And that movie is just so eerie, and it's just creepy. And oh my god, it still scares me a bit to this day. Now, I can say for the first one, the fifth one, I can say for a horror movie that doesn't scare me at all anymore, or that never scared me to begin with. I can say this is Child's Play. Child's Play has to be. It's a good concept. Goddamn it, soul of a serial killer gets sucked into a doll, right? But that's dumb as fuck. When you look at it as an adult, it's like, what the fuck? Like, as a kid, you can watch this movie, and I did. You watch this movie, and you just like, oh man, what if like it's like Toy Story but evil. It's like, what if my toy comes to life and tries to kill people? Take the fucking batteries out. The whole movie, I'm sitting there dumbfounded, like, y'all literally could have burnt this goddamn doll in the stove. Y'all could have like threw it in somebody else's trash and made it their problem. Y'all could have turned it off. Y'all could have took the motherfucker apart. Motherfucker sitting there wrestling with a doll like, oh, it's so goddamn strong. Oh my god, it's on my neck. Get it off your fucking neck. The scene where the mom finds out that Chucky is actually Charles Lee Ray, and you sitting there telling me that she couldn't kick the motherfucker out the window. You got me so fucked up when you talk, man. No, cause like that shit really had me mad even as a child, right? Like that thought of like, oh, my doll's coming to life is like, that's a child's dream. But Child's Play makes it a bit evil. But it's just like, even if it's a toy, you can still throw the motherfucker out. This gotta be the goofiest shit. You're dying by a doll. Like, nigga, Barbie? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Bro, motherfuckers really had people like motherfuckers really had people, you know what I'm saying, just thinking that this was just a scary movie. And it's like, it's not. It's not. It's not at all. No, it baffles me that that people think it's so fucked. Number 4 on the movies that, you know, can still scare the piss out of me is absolutely Urban Legend. Urban Legend has to be, again, it's a campy ass movie, but when you look at urban legends in a way that, oh, it happened to a person of a person, like these are relatively real-esque things that's just like, oh, it's a legend that happened, but it's just like having somebody in your backseat hiding to kill you, or let's say you have like let's say you have a hatchback and like the trunk is exposed. Motherfucker be hiding back there ready to kill you. Same thing with like the licked hand with the killer under the bed, or like let's say you have the scene where her roommate is getting killed, and she just think that her roommate is having sex. And then she wakes up, like, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights? Yes, motherfucker, because I would have died, but you also could have killed me. It's stuff like that that's kind of set in a realistic way, but it's still, Urban Legend is very campy, very late 90s, kind of similar. They tried to take it to the route that Scream took, in regards to like making it kind of self-aware in a way, and which it didn't do it the way that Scream did it, but like, for any kid that kind of grew up watching these movies, like Urban Legend kind of holds a place in your heart because just like, it could happen. And that's why Urban Legend kind of scares the shit out of me a bit, because these are just things that happen. Every urban legend that I've heard of are just things that could happen. One of the things that used to get me was the Bunny Man Bridge in Virginia, right? It's like a motherfucker walking around in a bunny costume with a chainsaw. It's like, oh, that's interesting, but it's just like there was actually somebody who walked around with a fucking axe, wearing a bunny costume, smashing motherfuckers' cars in. So it's like, it's possible. Anything that, you know, and that happened in this movie, like, and what scares the piss out of me is the first scene in the movie. And this scene it goes down in cinematic history because it kind of in a way because the guy who played Charles Lee Ray played the gas station clerk in the movie, the one with the stutter, who was trying to save the woman's life, and like the killer was in the back seat, and she thinks that the clerk is trying to be creepy and like do nefarious things. It's like, no, there's somebody in your back seat. You need to come with me right now. But because like she was just so creeped out, she basically just like caught her death, bro. And like that, like, oh man, that scene right there. It's like it's those, like I said, it's those jump scares, like I said, that that definitely that make it worth the watch. At least I think so. Now, I'm gonna say this because this is my number 4 for the ones that don't scare the shit out of me. I Know What You Did Last Summer was the worst movie I saw in all of my youth. And this is number 4 on the ones that did not scare the piss out of me. This one right here had to be the ripoff of ripoffs. I can't stand the fact that this movie happened. Don't get me wrong. I like to watch it because it's all nostalgia, and I'm big on the nostalgia kick, right? But I Know What You Did Last Summer is so blatantly obvious. It's so niche. It's like, okay, all right, so this is happening, cool, and you see it, and it's like, all right, revenge, basically. Oh, okay, you ran the guy over, and next thing you know, he's back. All right, like the kills were not worth sitting through, in my opinion. Like, it's not a memorable movie. It's not, bro. And it's not, because you hope that a movie about a killer with a hook would actually have some substance to it, and you would think that the characters, you would actually want to see them win. I didn't want to see none of them motherfuckers win. I wanted to see every single one of them, man. It sounds bad. You know what I'm saying? It sounds bad, but it's like, the fuck else? Like, y'all, it's just not, there's no, all you had to do was take this man to the hospital. All you had to do was pick him up. Yeah, you ran him over, call an ambulance, but yet you threw him to, like, bro, are you serious? Are you fucking serious right now? Like, if it's that easy to have your solution right there, are you not gonna do it? Are you not gonna like save this man's life? It's like, oh no, I'm scared. I'm pretty sure he is too. But I digress. I absolutely digress. Number 3, right? For the ones that scare the piss out of me. Now, Final Destination. As much as people like to think this isn't a scary film, if you're a clumsy motherfucker like myself, if you're clumsy and like you know, if some people say things happen for a reason, or like, oh, it's give it up to chance or whatever the case may be, it's like, then you know watching this movie will absolutely cause you straight up paranoia. You wouldn't want to get on a flight ever. You wouldn't want to get on a plane ever. You wouldn't want to get on a roller coaster ever. You wouldn't want to, do a backflip ever. You wouldn't even want to get out of bed. You wouldn't want to, you know what I'm saying, barricade yourself in your room. Why? Because death is there. This is why this movie scares the shit out of me. There's no killer. There's no killer. As much as people like that, there's no killer. It's just death. You try to stop death from happening. You were supposed to die in that plane crash. You're supposed to die on that roller coaster. You're supposed to die at that NASCAR event. You tried to stop and avert death. And guess what? Death has a vengeance. Right there. As clumsy as I am and as clumsy as a lot of people are, you know that scene where that dude accidentally slipped on the shampoo that's on the floor. If you slip on water, there's an opportunity you could fall. Every time I'm at work and I'm on a ladder, I am terrified that one bad move, I'm going to slip and break my neck and not come out of it. Every time I drive my car, there's that fear, right? That movie is pure anxiety. It's a full-blown anxiety fest. That is why that movie still scares the shit out of me, because it's the one thing you can't escape. You can't stop the clock. Everybody wants to stop the clock, figure out how to reverse the clock. You can't fucking stop it. And that is why that movie is terrifying, because no matter what they tried to do, either way, in the end, they got. That's fucked up, right? That is fucked up. There's a scene, I do believe, in Final Destination 3 or 4. 3 or 4. Let me see. I don't want to misquote this. Final Destination, because I know Final Destination 3, no, 4. Final Destination 4, where the woman was in the beauty salon, walking out the beauty salon after getting her fucking haircut. Every sign pointed to there is a possibility she could die in that salon. But no, because that motherfucker threw that rock where that guy was mowing the lawn, that rock guy yeeted through that woman's head. Are you fucking kidding me? And I do believe it was in 2, where they were on the freeway and that fucking lumber came through. I can't look at anything that has wood on it without having to think it's gonna go through my fucking brain. This movie is an anxiety fest, and it still scares the shit out of you, because it's the one thing. It's the one killer you can't defeat. You can defeat Freddy. You can defeat Jason. You can defeat Michael for a time. You can defeat Ghostface, because it's just a person in a bulletproof vest. You can defeat a majority of them, but you cannot defeat this one. That is that bullshit. So you watch it, you're on the edge of your seat. You're just hoping that none of this actually happens. But guess what? God damn it, it might. God damn it might, man. And I hate it, right? I hate that it does. Jesus, man. Okay. Number 3 on the ones that don't scare the shit out of me. It's gonna be. I don't know if anybody would consider this a horror movie. But Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body has to be. It's sexy, but it's not scary, nor is it good. A good cult following. I'll watch it whenever it's on. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's there. I love Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. They're great. But this movie had to be a miss. It could have been fantastic. A satanic rock group sacrifices a virgin, except she wasn't a fucking virgin. And then the spell backfires and turns her into a cannibal man eating demon lady. Great concept, poorly executed. Right? That says a lot about the movie when the only thing that stands out to most people is the fact that there was a lesbian kiss scene in it. And that's the thing that stands out to me, and probably the majority of the people that watched it. It's like, oh shit, Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox made out. That's hot. And you saw tongue. That's pretty fucking cool. That says a lot about the movie. There wasn't really anything in that movie worth the watch, and except for Megan Fox, and like that says a lot. Like, except for Megan Fox, and that's pretty fucking sad, right? At least to me, a bit. Like I had hope, because the trailer made it. The trailer made it fun. The trailer made it look like it was gonna be fire. And it does absolutely nothing. And like, don't get me wrong, probably in probably like initially, like, you know, it would it probably had people like spooked, but not me, not me, not me. No, and yeah, I stand by that statement. You know what I'm saying? It's not really up for debate. This is only my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really have much else to say about Jennifer's Body because like I said, the only thing that stands out was the kiss. Like honestly, I think I'm on number two. Number two, and my God, number two of the ones that still scare me. Halloween 1978. My favorite horror movie is the second movie that keeps me most terrified. Halloween 1978 has to it's still so creepy, so eerie because and it still scares me as much as I love watching it because that motherfucker could be anywhere. And he's so stealthy, so smooth with it. He could be behind me right now and I wouldn't know it. That's the thing that motherfuckers like. Michael Myers, like this movie as a whole is so smartly written, it's so great. It's executed in the greatest way possible, especially for the time that it was made out. Everything was so smartly done and written, and it's like a magnum opus. It's like a Magna Carta horror movie. And it absolutely can still scare the piss out of you. Think about this for a second. There's a scene, even in the Rob Zombie one, right? Where there's a scene in the original 1978. And I do believe this when Linda was having sex with that guy. I didn't care enough to remember his name. And he walked, after they got done, walked out to his van. And he didn't even notice that Michael was watching him the entire fucking time. That's the eerie part. That motherfucker watches and preys on his victim. That is what makes it creepy. The fact that, again, I feel like it's centered in realism because anybody escaped mental patients, someone who's just having straight up mental issues, someone who just wants to be a murderer. That is what I'm talking about. That is that fear that it could be anybody under that mask and just watching you, waiting for that moment. Whether you're in a dark room, whether you're out in the daylight and he's just stalking you, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know. That's eerie. That's why that movie. So it gives me way too many. Turn my head to the side. Oh, snap! Let me look out this window to make sure nobody watched me. Let me make sure I got all the blinds closed. Let me make sure no one's following me. That's what that movie does. It's so good. It's so smartly written. That is why I love this film. That is why I love this film. That is why that movie still gets me. Now, number two for the ones that don't scare me anymore. Prom night 2006. Prom night 2006. Obsessed teacher goes after his student. Creepy. Right? Very creepy, but it's not like this motherfucker's supernatural. It's just a nigga in a hat. It's a creepy pervert in a hat. You telling me that the whole time that this he escaped, but the whole time this motherfucker had the ability to kill people with like as stealthy as he did it, which is not easy being as stealthy as people think it is. But it's like all you had to do was get him back. Granted, you're stalking a teenage girl, first of all, and it's like you telling me that nobody at that prom, nobody in that hotel saw fit to stop the creepy man walking around in a lowered down hat who looks like he wants trouble. You tell me that wasn't on nobody's mind? You serious? That movie had to be the movie. Like, as much as I love the original Prom Night. You know what I'm saying? But this shit, I was like, and I still watched it. I sat through it and I watched it, and I'm just like, all right, man, I guess. And it did nothing for. It's crazy. There was so much hype around this movie. I love Brittany Snow. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she's leading a film that's not a romance. This is gonna be good. It broke my heart, bro. It broke my heart because you wanted it to be good. You wanted it to be good. I hoped for it to be good, and and anyway, I digress. I'm gonna switch it up this time. I'm gonna give you the one, since I'm down to the final two. I'm gonna give you the one that doesn't scare me, the number one that doesn't scare me as much as they used to, and then I'm gonna give you the one that still does. Okay. Oh, real quick. Like I said in the beginning, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying, about the podcast. And just a favorite, all that shit. Follow me on IG at Versace Laz. That's VersaceLaz. All right, now the number one movie that used to scare me way back when, but doesn't scare me now. And I feel like this might sound like a lie, but it's not. The one that I can definitely say it is no, because that's not true. That's not true. It still does. I was gonna say Jeepers Creepers. It absolutely fucking does. It's not centered in realism, but it's just like it's still very, very much so, like, it's still scary. Like, that motherfucking monster is a Jesus. It definitely it. From the original 1990, I love it. I love Tim Curry. I do. It gives me creepy, eerie vibes, but it doesn't scare me as much as it used to when I was younger. And that's the thing. It did give me a fear of clowns for the longest time. But 1990 is so for that time. It's still such a good film. And for you and as I get older, I see it's more and more made for that time. And then, like, even the 2018 one, it's still so good and smartly written, but it's just like you don't you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't hold it to be as scary as it once was. I love the scenes where, they get to interact with it. But then again, it's those scenes that are creepy. Like when he comes out like when you hear the voice in the sink. Or when he comes out the shower. When Eddie's trying to shower and, like, he comes out the hole in the ground. That's creepy, right? But in every other case, it just seems like he's not portraying an evil entity. He's playing a clown. He's playing an entity who's playing a clown who's preying on the fear on these kids. But it's just like as I get older, it's just a lot more. What's the word? It's a lot more goofy, I guess. But, like, again, like I said, there are still scenes that's just like, fuck, that's intense. Like, that's a lot for 90s TV made horror film. Yeah, that's number one for that one. That's number one for that one. Number one for the horror movies that's still the horror movie that still makes me piss my pants. The Strangers. The Strangers. Now I don't know if you heard the podcast where I talked about the top my top 25 horror movies, but The Strangers is number two. Mainly because, and I told you, it is so good. It's a top tier, heavenly leveled horror film. And it's just violent for the sake of violence. It's not like, we opened a book and these spirits came through. No. These are people attacking people. It's not like, no. It's not like because you were home, they were able to get into the house. This is why it's scary to me. It was random. It was random. It's not like they were being watched. They probably walked around every other place in that wooded area and knocked. And if anybody else would have answered the door, they would have got it. They would have got what that couple got. But because they answered the door at random, they got it. That's the fucked up part. That's what I'm talking about. That's the shit right there that makes it scary to me. That's right. That's what makes me piss myself. Because you could be living your life and at random, and this happens to people. Like, you can be living your life, enjoy your life. Next thing you know, motherfuckers will try to start bullshit with you and try to fight you, try to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? But in this movie, it's executed in the way that's so gruesome, so deadly, so it kills me to say it, but so realistic. Because again, it's set in realism, it's based on true events. The shit like this has happened. Shit like this has happened to people in wooded areas. Shit like this happens to people in cities. You know what I'm saying? Hell, even the Night Stalker, that motherfucker was just, all he wanted to find was an open window. And it happened. So it's like it's shit like this that make you be like, yo, this shit, it gives you the same way Final Destination gives you that anxious ass feeling. It makes you watch your surroundings more because it's like, who the fuck is going to try something with me? Who's going to do something? Which one of y'all could be the one that tries to take me out of here? And again, it makes you paranoid, which you shouldn't be. Enjoy life. There's no point in living life if you're scared. But this movie will absolutely have you feeling that way. I don't know about The Strangers 2. That was some shit. But the first one will absolutely have you on the edge of your seat and pissing into a bedpan, because it will literally leave you in absolute shock and awe about how brutal and at random and as calculated as this shit is. My God, what a movie. What a film. But I digress. Anyway, that's the list. I came up with this out of nothing, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for checking out Late Night Laz. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, tell a friend to tell a friend. And you know what I'm saying, I will see y'all in the next one. Hopefully I have different equipment then. Don't forget to follow my Instagram at Versace Laz. That's VersaceLaz. You know what I'm saying? Do that. And I will catch y'all in the next one. I love you. Te amo. Bésame. Bésame.